Hey guys, Todd here from Great Escape Farms. This is the first stop on a Skyline Drive trip that I started. I'm coming from the south, right near Afton, Virginia. I was just leaving a nursery there, edible landscaping, and figure I'd take Skyline Drive back, 105 miles on a mountain ridge. So this is the view that I have at the first stop. I'll stop at several different stops along the way and take a video and show you what it's like. So Skyline Drive is part of the Shenandoah National Park, and like I said, it's 105 miles going on. I'm starting down here in the southern portion, and it runs up through the Shenandoah Valley area of the state of Virginia, and I will be exiting off around Front Royal here to head back out to my farm in West Virginia. And here's a little bit more about it. So 105 miles, as I said, with 75 overlooks. I'm not going to stop at all those. If you're into hiking, there's 500 miles of trails, and I'm assuming that's one of the trails right there where this gentleman is. I'm not a fan of heights, so I will not be doing something like that, but lots of adventure on this in this park. So the last stop I was at was looking to the east, and I'm not going to be hitting all of these 75 stops, but this one is the second stop, and it's looking to the west. So just to give you an idea of where we are, hopefully we'll hit a peak at some point where we see both the east and the west at the same time. But just in the 4 or 5 miles I've driven so far, and I can't see too much here, but there's a lot of wildflowers and everything growing in, and just this is a national forest, so it has beautiful, beautiful trees and everything else that we're in right here. This is, let's see, today is September 16th, 2017, and Virginia, this area of Virginia, the Shenandoah, you can see all those trees in the back right there. There are very few out there that look like pine, so that means they're deciduous, and you can see if you look hard that there's some in there starting to change color. So in another month, it'll just look like these hills are on fire with color because the leaves will be changing. So I bought a season pass. Maybe I'll come back by and do another view when the leaves are changing. So this is probably stop 6 or 7. I just drove through a few. I didn't take a video or anything. I did want to jump back to a couple of things I said. I said in another month the leaves will be changing and it'll be beautiful. But if you look up there, I see some that are red, and there's some behind me that are yellow. Actually, you can see a little bit right there. Some are changing to yellow in this tree right here. Some are going to red. You can see the vine right there. Let's see, that's Virginia creeper. That's turning red. So I think I may be off on that. I'm heading north. So with what I see here, I'm betting that we'll have peak color probably in 2 to 3 weeks. We're not a month off. And as I head further north, it might even be less than that. So I'll keep an eye on that as we go further north. Also, as far as the charge, I mentioned that I bought a yearly pass. Yearly pass for a passenger vehicle is, let's see, it's $50, and everybody in the vehicle gets to come through. If you are just a single vehicle coming through, let's say you're traveling out this way and you know you won't be coming back, then it's $25 to come through for everybody in the vehicle. And then they can also allow bicycles and stuff like that to come through, and I think that's $10 a person to come in that way. So everywhere they have a stop area, it's not necessarily an overlook, they have a sign here. It gives you the elevation and the name of what it is. So in this case, I am over here. It is a parking area, and it's a parking area because they have trails going off different ways and recreation areas back there, and it just is a parking area. If it's actually an overlook or a scenic overlook, it states that it is, and they actually give you a map when you enter the park as to what these are, so you can pick out which ones you want, or make sure that if somebody tells you to go to a certain one, their names, so that you can actually get back to it. So this one, again, just a parking area in the woods, but other than me talking, it's perfectly quiet here. Okay, so I'm back on course here. I got a little confused when I left the last stop. When you're exiting on the left and the right, and you're stopping and you're doing videos and you're looking at stuff and reading stuff, and A little tough to remember which direction you're going because you can't remember, did you take a right to get in this parking spot or a left, especially when you're wooded on both sides. So I am headed in the right direction, going back north again. Okay, so this is one of the most beautiful spots that I've seen yet. Just looking out at the valley here. Mountains on the far side, and I'm on a mountain with the valley down in between. And just have a view all the way across, unencumbered. So this little marker here that has a 92 on it, that's actually the mile marker. So I started to the south and the mile marker was 105, and it's been counting down as I go up every mile. So it lets you know where you are so you can look at the map. So that's a little bit opposite to interstates. The U.S. interstate system actually counts up from the south. So we're counting down from the south in the national park here. So don't know if that's a national park thing or if that was intended on purpose or what it was. Let me pan around over here and come over this way. And we actually have a water feature here. I think it was called the Mormon or Mormons River. And water features are always cool to look at. And one thing I've also noticed over here is that the trees are definitely, and I'm only, 13 miles north right now, and you can see that the trees have noticeably more yellow here than they were down there. So I'm curious what it's going to look like when I get up to around mile marker 1 and 2, which is a good bit further north than here. Pan around, actually let me close it in here a little bit and pan around so you can see what we have here. So I am somewhere around mile marker 80, so I've been going for what, about 25 miles now. And I ran into the first camping area here, and with the camping area they do have, actually I just spotted this now, I didn't earlier, they do have some running water there. However, in the restrooms here, there is not running water, so this is basically a permanent porta pot. Let me open up. And what you have in here is basically a hole in the ground that you do your business in. And I guess go there and wash up, so it is a little bit primitive. Another beautiful area here, not quite as much of the valley in view. You do see a little bit in the center there, but a couple rolling hills in between us and them. And this is one of the stops, and there's been a couple along the way where they talk about different history, and this one is in the talking about the Civil War here, and just talking about the terrain and some of the soldiers that were engaged here and some of the battles they had. So this is what it looks like driving down the road here. I've talked about it, I just figured I would show you what it looks like. And I don't know if you'll be able to see this as we're moving along, but it's tough to not look off to the sides, and right now it's on the left-hand side or to the west side, where I actually have views. And sometimes it's actually, if you look over here, I don't know if you can see this or not, but off to the east side there's views over there too. Now you got to kind of look through the woods, and that's where it's kind of dangerous, so that's where you want to pull off to an overlook, and I just passed one there. And as I look right now, I see a motorcycle. I'd say it's probably about 10% motorcycle and 90% cars. I've seen probably a half a dozen hikers, but I'm thinking they just parked in a parking area. And there's an overlook sign right here. And we'll just pull in and take a look here and see what it looks like. I won't even get out for this particular one here. Certainly a busy one here. And this one I would have to actually stand up on the little block barrier there to see what's going on, so I'm not going to do that. I'll just pull on here. But right up off on the right hand side, you see there's a parking area, which means that there's hiking trails over there. That's probably. So I am at mile marker 79.5, the guy inside said. So obviously I was off a little. It was probably 84 or 85 where the camping area was. So this is definitely 79.5. Heading north, this is the first gift shop and eating area that they have. So I'll run inside and give you a view of that in just a minute. Back here they have a mobile visitor center. I guess the rangers wander around and do different shows and tours of stuff there. The visitor shop here. Hey, not so much a visitor shop, more of a gift center in here. Different shirts and wines and snacks and stuff. Might have to get myself a t-shirt. Mine's all dirty from the nursery I was at earlier. And then over here, right next to where I was, they have an eating area. And right now they are cooking me a cheeseburger and fries. I'm going for the unhealthy food this time around. I just had a hankering for a little bit of grease, so I'll let you know what that tastes like in a moment. Okay guys, so this is lunch. So I got an order fries, cheeseburger, and the root beer there. And the charge for that was $13.24. So my next stop, I'll let you know how this tastes. This particular overlook is called Rocky Top. And I'm down about a half a mile on the east-facing side now. I was on the west-facing side. And this is just another gorgeous view right here. It's just so amazing. And you can see beautiful colors in there. Starting, and one thing I just spotted there is there's a house in the middle of the woods there. So talk about living in the middle of the woods. That looks like an interesting little spot right there. Okay, so I am at the halfway point, and which is 52 miles. And they have another camp store, or actually it's a camp store, it's another restaurant, and this is the first place that I have seen a gas station. So I've gone 52 miles, and it's the first time I've seen a gas station. So make sure you have enough gas. Let's see, the gas was priced about 20 cents over what the local area is here. And there aren't any restrooms in this particular building, or not any that I found. There's a visitor center up the way over there, so I'm gonna run on up there and see if there is restrooms over there. There's also a camping area, and I see some people in the field way on back there, so they're hiking over there. So also, it is just after 4 o'clock. I started just after 1 o'clock, so it's taken me 3 hours to go 52 miles. Now I did stop and have lunch, and I've been stopping at a lot of the areas here, so just keep in mind you could absolutely spend an entire day out here driving through the Shenandoah Valley on Skyline Drive. So we're something called Franklin Cliffs Overlook, and I think the cliff part is the fact that we're on one here, but it has a nice mountain view right there, and then it comes down and you got a cool looking city view there. Not city, valley. Okay, so I am somewhere between mile marker 35, 36, somewhere around there. So I have gone, what have I gone? I don't know, 16, 17 miles. And I passed dozens and dozens of overlooks and turnoffs and parking areas, 2 different camping areas, 1 place to eat, and also saw a little black bear rummaging around on the side of the road. So lots of wildlife out here as well. One surprising thing is I haven't run across any deer yet. So I thought this was a really neat view here. A lot of people don't think of the East Coast as being very mountainous, and compared to the Rockies, this really isn't. But definitely some high peaks here. You can see off in the background there compared to down in the valley. So very cool view here, not so much over this way. But looking right back at that peak in the back there, that's cool. Found another beautiful view here, but this beautiful view is not actually why I stopped here. The reason I stopped here is because of the road up here. They actually blew up a tunnel coming through here. So in January of 1932, they completed the tunnel, and they worked around the clock with 15 men on each shift, blasting the tunnel and pulling the rock out and rolling it down the hill here. So you consider 1932, the tools aren't quite what they are nowadays. That's quite the feat. Just another stop along the way here. I'm somewhere around mile marker 20. And this just looked like a nice looking stop here. Beautiful scenery, not too much down in the valley here, just a couple places looks like farmhouses up close there, but some hills in the back. And the sun is just up there in the trees, so I imagine another 2-3 hours it'll be setting over there. So this is probably a pretty spectacular view for sunset here. Okay, I'm at mile marker 14, and as you can see from the valley here, things are starting to get more populated, so you can tell I'm nearing the end here, only less than 15 miles to go to the end. So things will get more populated as we get closer to the end. Okay guys, early on in the video I was talking about the color of the leaves, and I figured it would get more color as I came further north, and that is not the case. It's actually less color up here, and part of the reason being, I believe, is I've been steady going down the mountain for the last half hour or so. So I think it had more to do with elevation above sea level than it did as far as north-south. So it's looking like we are in this general area probably a month off from the leaf color changing, but all the same, still beautiful views out here. And this is another spot where the sun will set right over those hills that I'm facing, and I bet you it would be just absolutely gorgeous. Well, the fun and joy of this trip are just about over, because that's what I'm headed for right there. Headed back into a more congested area, and I only have a couple miles to go. I'll be down in the middle of that right there. As a matter of fact, I might even be on that road right there in front of us there. So this trip is just about over. Well, I was initially hoping to wrap this up with a video from down at the bottom in the valley looking back up, but the way the road took me, that wasn't possible. So I just wanted to show you two of the documents that they gave me when I signed up. So this one over here is a kind of like a news 4-page newspaper. It says fall of 2017 there, so I'm guessing that they do it seasonally. This one talks about the leaves and leaves changing colors and the cooler temperatures. And then this one is a map, and right here it shows you the different campgrounds, explains the services. This side right here shows the entire national park with mileposts and where the overlooks are, and gives you an explanation of a few things over here. And then on the back side, just a couple things to watch out for, and what different plants are and different things to check out here. So that is my adventure in Skyline Drive in the Shenandoah Valley of Virginia. So please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. Thank you very much, and have a great day.